Minister, you're smiling. What can you say about this entire process to us now that it's done and Mr. Blackman has been victorious?
First of all, we are very happy in the Barbados Labour Party that the people of St. James North have spoken resoundingly. Chad has gotten 84% of the vote. It is an extraordinary performance for a first-time candidate. I think that a point was being made earlier by, I believe it was Peter Wickham, that typically when you see that kind of performance, it's usually, regrettably, at the instance of someone who has passed. But as you can see, Eddie Hinkson is very much alive to my right. So that this has been an extraordinary performance. It was not the Barbados Labour Party who first asserted that this was a referendum on the government's performance. It was the Democratic Labour Party who night after night asserted that. And the people of St. James North, I suppose, have spoken resoundingly, not just in favour of Chad, but Chad as the representative in the Barbados Labour Party in this constituency. This is not to say that the government is perfect. I've said over and over, we are not perfect. In fact, the challenges that we've had since coming to office, I never imagined in May 2018 that the challenges that we would face would go beyond the immediate economic and debt-related challenges that we inherited from the last decade. But the world in which we live is regrettably too much like 100 years ago in every respect, and the instability, and it is compounded by the reality of the climate. Night after night, you would have heard Sandy make the point as well, that the roads that we have, we judge ourselves harshly as a party, and rightfully so. But the reality is that there was a deficit that we came in terms of road construction, and it was is compounded by the convection rain, the intensity of the rain that we're facing, that a lot of our roads were never built to these standards. So it is placing an inordinate burden on us all. I think that this election also speaks very clearly to the continued politics of grievance and misery and complaints. And don't get me wrong, an opposition has a right to make criticisms of a government. But when all you do is to criticize, attack, vilify, and in many instances borderline libel and defamation, then you have to begin to ask yourself, are you really listening to the people? This Barbados Labour Party government, when and I will never forget it, when the cabinet was sworn in on the 27th of May 2018, next week will be 7 years, I promised this country that the confidence that they reposed in our government would not be abused. It has been a disheartening thing for me that while we have given everyone the fullest opportunity to be able to speak, while we have reduced the powers of a Prime Minister in the appointment of a head of state, in the appointment of judges, and a number of other things, that we continue to have this rhetoric because we now live in a world of fake news. And this thing here, because this now goes to what I call narrow casting, they believe that anything can go without having to be rooted in truth. I hope, I pray for this country that we will come to understand that there is wisdom in being rooted in facts and truth, and that there ought to be an engagement with the people that reflects hope. Yes, there are challenging times. We know the water rough. We know the waves rough out there, not just regionally, nationally, but globally. And there's some serious challenges that as a country we must come together with. And I hope that sober reflection will cause the Democratic Labour Party to come on board with us in solving these national issues. The first one of which relates to educational transformation. The second of which relates to crime. And we are not unique in this country. CARICOM has established, or is establishing in completion now, the CARICOM Educational Transformation Commission. Why? Because other countries are facing the same problems. Similarly, the George Bridge Declaration with respect to crime is largely as a result because other countries are facing worse problems in the region than we are with respect to crime.